Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Brock has stepped in there. Jim Lonborg down looking to Elson Howard into the windup, the kick, and the first pitch of the ball game. A little bit outside, a curveball. Defensively for the Red Sox, Scott at first. Second base, Andrews. Shortstop, Petrocelli. At third base, Foy. The pitch by Lonborg to Brock. The ball hit out into left field. Yastrzemski going over. That ball may be in there. Yastrzemski catches up with it. A great play by Carl Yastrzemski starting this ball game off right in that left field corner. And it looked like that Brock may start this game off with an extra base hit. Yastrzemski playing over towards center had a long way to run, but he's fast, and he got there and he made the play. Kurt Flood, 4 for 25, batting 160. The first pitch to Lonborg gets popped up out into center field. Reggie Smith should have no trouble with it. Underneath it and pitches for out number 2. There has been only one previous 4-3 series in which the two seventh-game starters had 2-0 records for the series. 1925, Walter Johnson of Washington and Vic Aldridge of the Pittsburgh Club. Walter Johnson went all the way, but they lost the ball game 9-7. Jim Lonborg pitching to Roger Maris. Curveball in there for a call, strike 1. And you're going to hear noise all day. It's 2 away. We're in the top half of the first inning here at Fenway Park in Boston. The 7th game of the World Series. Lonborg pitch. Here's the pitch. Little low and inside. Elson Howard wanted that one. The count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Maris had a good series. He's batting .348, 8 for 23. He has 1 home run. And that was the run that they got, the Cardinals, off of Jim Lonborg over in Busch Stadium. Here's the pitch. Ball right back through the middle. Andrews backhands the ball. No chance to throw out Roger Maris. Both Lonborg had a shot at that ball. Right back through the middle. He put his glove down, could not come up with it. Andrews, knowing that he had no chance to throw out Maris, just held onto the ball. So Maris on at first base with the first baseman of the ball game. And it brings up Orlando Cepeda. 3 for 24. He has 1 run batted in. Batting 1-2-5. The umpires in today's game, Stevens behind home plate. Bollick at first. Beaumont at second. Donatelli at third. The left field line. Runge at the right field line. Paul Pryor. Orlando Cepeda way back in that batter's box. Elson Howard gives the target. Lonborg looks at Maris at first. Here's the pitch. Almost got him. Little inside. Ball 1. It's 2 away. We're in the top half of the first inning. Orlando with that big bat of his. 36 inches, 40 ounces. Right down on the end of it. Lonborg looks at Maris. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 2. Howard out in front of home plate, massaging the ball. Says something to Jim Lonborg. Cepeda having trouble with that bat. As we said yesterday, he doesn't seem to be fooled on the pitches. He just can't make contact. The 2-0 pitch. Here it is. Grounded out to Mike Andrews at second base. He'll go to George Scott over at first, and that's all for Cepeda. And that's all for the Cardinals here in the first inning of Fenway Park. So the score, St. Louis Cardinals nothing, and the Boston Red Sox coming to bat. With Pee Wee Reese, this is Harry Caray. Joe Foy steps into the batter's box to get things started for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the first. Okay, Pee-wee. Bob Gibson. He's won 2 games in the series. 13-6 on the year, facing Joe Foy. Into the windup, the pitch. Outside, ball 1. And as we've said so many times, Bob Gibson, he gets right back on that rubber as soon as he gets the ball from the catcher. He is ready to pitch. Into the windup. Joe Foy swings, fouls it back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the Cardinals, Cepeda at first. Second base, Javier, shortstop, Maxwell. Third base, Shannon. In left field, Brock. Here's the windup, the pitch by Gibson, a curveball, low and outside. Out in center field, way out there is Kurt Flood. In right field, Roger Maris, the catcher, Tim McCarver, and the pitcher, of course, Bob Gibson. Into the windup, the 2-1 pitch to Foy. He started, checked his swing, 3-1, inside. Joe Foy leading things off for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the first inning. The Cardinals failed to score in the first inning. Into the windup, the pitch by Gibson. It's too high, ball 4. So Bob Gibson walks the first man he faces. And Harry, he doesn't do that too often.
No, he doesn't.
Mike Andrews, batting .400. He's 4 for 10. He chokes up on the bat. Here's the pitch. He bunts one down the first baseline. Cepeda up with it. Flips the ball over to Javier, covering first. Moving down to second base, Joe Foy. Here's a tough situation for the Cardinals, who take to walk anybody intentionally in the very first inning. But yet here's a real hot hitter up there, Carl Yastrzemski. Be interesting to see what they do. Well, I think that Dick Williams may have this in mind. He's just going to test the Cardinals and see if they're going to pitch to him. It looks like they are. It's pretty hard to walk a man in the first inning intentionally, and they're going to pitch to Yastrzemski. Bob Gibson, the kick. In there, just got the inside corner, strike 1. You better believe he will be careful with this fellow. Yastrzemski, 9 for 22. 3 home runs in the series. Batting in a cool .409. Down at second base, Joe Foy. Yastrzemski holds that bat high. Gibson looks back at Foy at second and wakes the wheel, flips the ball to Maxwell. As it looked like Maxwell, the shortstop, was going to cut in back of Foy as Foy broke off at second base. Like he may be going. 1 strike on Yastrzemski. It's 1 away. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Gibson looks back at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball outside. Makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Bob Gibson trying to win a 3rd game here in this 7th game of the World Series. The set. Here's the pitch. Yastrzemski, a little lazy looper after his shortstop. Maxwell flips his glass and takes it. And Gibson jammed him with that pitch. It's 2 away. Brings up Ken Harrelson. Talking about things you don't see too often. You don't see Yastrzemski get jammed too much with a fastball. Harrelson 1 for 9. Batting 111. Gibson checking with McCarver, his catcher. McCarver giving him a sign. Gibson sets. Looks back a second. Here's the pitch. Curveball in there for call strike 1. Gibson looks to me like he may be changing his pattern. And in the first 2 games, he started off with a lot of fastballs. Today, he's thrown a few breaking balls already. 1 strike on Ken Harrelson. Here's the pitch. Swinging and a miss. Strike 2. A good fastball. He's on top of Harrelson with 2 strikes. Joe Foy down at second base. It's 2 away. Bottom half the first inning. This game has just gotten underway. Harrelson way back in that batter's box, moving that bat back and forth. Now he's set, so is Gibson. The pitch. Fastball in there for foul strike 3. Harrelson caught looking, so that's all for the Red Sox in the bottom half of the first inning. The score, St. Louis nothing and Boston nothing.
Top half of the second inning coming up, and Tim McCarver, Mike Shannon, and Julián Javier will be the first 3 hitters coming up for the St. Louis Cardinals. No score. Bob Gibson, after walking the first man, really went to his fastball and good breaking ball and got the next 3 men out in order. So now here's McCarver leading it off for the Cardinals. Here we
top half of the second inning. McCarver, Shannon, and Javier. Jim Lonborg, he's ready. Elson Howard giving the sign. Jim kicks that big leg up in the air, high. Here's the pitch. The ball is popped up. Kept the center of the shortstop. Puts his glasses underneath it and takes it for out number 1. Both of these pitchers, if you can tell this quickly, look sharp. Mike Shannon, he has 1 home run in the series. 5 for 20, batting .250. The big third baseman. Hits from the right side, right down on the end of that bat. Lonborg, the kick, the pitch. A curveball he was taking all the way. It's in there for call strike 1. Both of these pitchers, Lonborg for the Red Sox, Gibson for the Cardinals, have good control. There's no need of taking anything. They're very seldom walk anyone. There's a sidearm curveball. One on and miss, strike 2. And that's been the pattern Lonborg has followed against Shannon. Try to get that first strike in on him, then sidearm him with that curveball. He comes way around, but away at third base. No balls, 2 strikes on Shannon. It's 1 away. There's a sidearm curveball, swung out and missed. The first strikeout for Jim Lonborg. And that'll bring up a little fellow that's had a real fine series, not only with the bat, batting .333, 7 for 21, but what a series he's had in that field. He's made a couple of great plays at second base. Javier, Eddie Basu, the shortstop, utility infielder for the Cardinals, says you really can't appreciate this fellow until you've seen him play and been with him day in and day out. Quite a player. Chokes up on the bat. Lonborg kick. Here's the pitch. It's foul straight back. Elson Howard over to his right. Stops on it. Way back in the stand. Strike 1. It's 2 away. We're in the top half of the second inning here at Fenway Park. The 7th game of the World Series. Harry Caray and I'm Pee Wee Reese bringing you this 7th game. And it certainly has been a pleasure bringing you all 7 games of the World Series here on radio. The kick for Lonborg. There's a base hit out into left field. Yastrzemski takes it on 1 hop. And that's the second hit for the Cardinals. 1 by Maris and 1 by Javier. So that's the 8th hit in the series for Javier. He likes to run. And as Harry told you, Maxwell likes to hit and run. But let's see what they do. We'll watch Javier at first. Lonborg watching over at first. He's not going. A curveball in there. Strike 1. We have the pitcher up next, Bob Gibson. And he is not a bad hitter. Maxwell steps back out of that box, checks with his coach, Joe Schultz, at third base. Coaching in first base, Dick Sisler. That's for the Cardinals. Lonborg takes it easy. Here's the pitch. And Elson Howard pitched out. He thought that Javier may be going, so that makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Maxwell still checking with Joe Schultz. Stepped out of the box. Schultz giving the signs down at third. Touching the cap, the letters. Well, if he gave anything, he's already given it because Maxwell's back in the Lonborg, flips over to first. And Javier had a pretty good lead. He may be going. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2 away. Top half the second inning. Maxwell looking out at Lonborg. Lonborg going and he flips over to first again. And Javier diving back in there. Javier gets a pretty good lead. Lonborg looks over at Javier. Here's the pitch. Javier made a bluff, but he did not go in there. Call strike 2. And Howard came out behind that batter, ready to throw. A good bluff for Javier at first base. It's 2 away. McCarver started this inning off by popping up. Shannon struck out. Javier singled. Maxwell is a hitter with 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. The throw to first base. Javier back in plenty time. Maxwell has 2 for 15. Batting 133. Jim Lonborg. He stooped over getting the sign. Here's the pitch. Sidearm curveball, just missed. 2-2. He's tough on right-handers. Tough to stay in there. Maxwell checking with Schultz at third base. They're playing Maxwell straight away, not too deep. Lonborg sets. Here's the pitch. There goes Javier. The inside, hard throw. They got him. Javier was thrown out by Erskine Howard. A good throw. And that's all for the Cardinals here in the top. After 1.5 innings of play, it's the St. Louis Cardinals nothing, and the Boston Red Sox nothing. Elston Howard made some throw. The pitch to Maxwell was low and inside, right off his shoe tops, and Howard had to spin around and throw, and he threw perfectly. George Scott takes the first pitch by Gibson, outside, ball 1. It'll be George Scott, Reggie Smith, and Rico Petrocelli. Here's the pitch for Gibson. Low and inside, ball 2. Scott batting .227 in the series. He has 5 for 22. He's choking on the bat a little bit today. Gibson, curveball, in there for call strike 1. That's what makes this fellow a good pitcher. He can throw hard, but he kind of finesses you every once in a while. He gets behind you, he can still get that curveball over. There it is, a good fastball, swung on, missed, strike 2. And looked like that pitch was right in the power of George Scott, but just a little bit inside. He tried to chop down on it, no contact. 2-2 is the count. Gibson in the windup, the kick. Curveball, they've got him looking. George Scott looks at the third strike. And that's the second strikeout for Bob Gibson. That brings up Reggie Smith, the center fielder for the Red Sox. You know the Cardinals have played in 10 World Series. They've won 7 of the games. And 5 of those 7 wins went to the 7th game. And the Cardinals have never lost a series that they've gone to 7 games in. Reggie Smith, Gibson, first pitch, swung on, missed, strike 1. It's 1 away. We're in the bottom half of the second inning here at Fenway Park in Boston. The 7th game of the World Series. Gibson pitches. Reggie Smith started, checked his swing. I guess he got a piece of it. Strike 2. Bob Gibson working fast. McCarver giving the signs. Into the windup to kick the 0-2 pitch. A grounder out to second base, and Javier on a big hop flips the ball over to Cepeda, and that's all for Reggie Smith. So it's 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom half of the second inning. Petrocelli gets a nice hand. He's the shortstop for the Red Sox. He was in a little batting slump until yesterday. He just knocked 2 out of the park. He has good power. Gibson, curveball, low. And I saw in the paper where Petrocelli said the 2 home runs he hit yesterday were fastballs. Gibson starts him off with a curve today. The 1-0 pitch. Another curveball, swung on, missed, strike 1. They play Petrocelli, especially Kurt Flood out in center field, around to left center to pull. Petrocelli, Gibson, the kick. Another curveball, swung on, missed. Strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The first time Petrocelli saw Gibson in the first game, Gibson struck him out 3 times. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The kick by Gibson. The pitch. A curveball foul straight back. And the count remains 1-2. Coaching at first base, For the Red Sox, the great second baseman Bobby Doerr. Over at third base, Ed Potowski. He struck Petrocelli out, and that's all for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the second inning. The score, the St. Louis Cardinals nothing, and the Boston Red Sox nothing. Darryl Maxwell is a hitter leading off the top half of the third inning. You remember he was a hitter when they threw out Javier at second base trying to steal. Curveball, out inside. Ball one. It'll be Maxwell, Gibson, and Brock. Lonborg kicks, that arm. Fastball hit down at third baseline. Down at Caray. The umpire down at third. Boots it, the fans give him a little blast. What a job these umpires have done in the series, Harry.
Certainly have, Pee-wee.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Calling time, there must be something draped over the wall in left field. Frank Umont, the second base umpire, spotted it. And there it is, a towel, it looks like.
Well, I think it's a towel. It looks to me like a fan climbing up in the screen out there where they're getting him down. This game is ready to start. Lonborg, pitch to Maxwell, hit out into center field. Reggie Smith going way back, way back, way back. It's off of the wall. Maxwell grounded second, going into third. Ken Hassan over to pick up the ball, and they hold on to it as Maxwell hits one off of that center field wall straight away in center field.
That's unusual power for Don Maxwell, who this year hit 1 home run during the regular season, and that was inside the park. He really hit this one. Yesterday, he hit a fly ball deep in the center that surprised everybody. And today, he surprised them even more by hitting one off the top of the center field wall.
Well, it's a triple for Darryl Maxwell. Leading off the third inning, the infield is in. Bob Gibson is the hitter, the pitcher for the Cardinals. Lonborg looks over at third. Maxwell, here's the kick, the pitch. Curveball in there for call strike 1. You know, Harry, Maxwell hit a couple of hard balls to center field yesterday, we're caught.
Yes, that's the one that I was referring to, Pee-wee. Unusual for him to hit straight away. He usually hits the ball towards right field.
The pitch by Lonborg. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Cardinals are threatening here in the top half of the third inning. The Red Sox have the infield pulled in with no one away. Gibson's a hitter. Lonborg looking down at his catcher, Elson Howard. Looks over at Maxwell. Here's the kick, the pitch. Curveball inside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Gibson. Gibson checks with Joe Schultz at third base. Not a bad hitter. He will just be trying to get a piece of the ball. Here's the kick, the pitch. A good fastball, just got the outside. Connor makes the count 2-2. Maxwell down at third. Just got through tripping off the center field wall.
Well, that smoke out there. I believe the building's on fire out beyond the center field fence.
That's all we need, Harry. 2-2. The count on Bob Gibson. Here's the pitch. A line drive right at fly at third base. He drove over the bag, but Maxwell, being very alert, when he saw the ball hit, he went back to the bag. And Gibson really cleaned that one. But all it is a big out.
It's supposed to be a game of skill, not bravery, Pee-wee.
So it's 1 away now. Maxwell still down in third. And it brings up Lou Brock. The infield is still in. Lonborg. Set. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Low and outside. Ball 1.
Against Lonborg, Brock is nothing out of 9. It's the only pitcher who's been able to stop him so far.
Well, let's see how he's trying to pitch him. That pitch was low and outside. Looked like Lonborg wanted it. Here's the kick, the pitch. Fastball outside. Ball 2. It's 1 away. The runner's still down at third base. Darryl Maxwell, the Cardinals. We're in the top half of the third inning. No runs for the Cardinals, but they have 3 hits. Boston has no runs on, no hits. Lou Brock, with a count of 2 balls, no strikes on him, steps out of there. As Lonborg takes a little bit too much time. Takes a little bit too much time for Brock. Brock now checking with Schultz. He's coached at third base. Lonborg just standing there, staring down at Brock. Now he's ready. Here's the pitch. 2-2. Ball foul off the left. Back up in the stand. And they count 2 balls and 1 strike. Brock had a fine series. He has 4 stolen bases, has 1 home run, 3 runs batted in, batting a cool .400. Right now it's 2 balls and 1 strike on him. Lonborg. Here's the pitch. Swing and miss, strike 2. A good fastball high and away. That ball was by Brock. Looked like he may be looking for something. And the count is 2-2. 1 away. Maxwell still down at third. They play Brock deep, and straight away the infield is in. Lonborg looks over at Maxwell at third. The kick, the pitch. A foul off the left, back in the stands. No runs, 3 hits by the Cardinals. No runs, no hits for the Red Sox. Lonborg against Gibson. They have both won 2 games in the series. The 7th and final game of the World Series. Here's the pitch. It's popped up. Petroselli, the shortstop, pass for it, back near the edge of the grass and takes it. And Maxwell cannot score on that. And it's 2 away. Lonborg. Not out of a jam yet. But he's getting in pretty good shape. As Maxwell started this inning off with a triple off the center field wall. 2 outs later, he's still down there. And it brings up Curt Flood, who's flying out to center field. His last time the first pitch to him is too high. Ball 1.
You notice the first pitch to practically every hitter is tight, the inside part of the plate.
He seems to have a pattern, Caray. At fastball, tight inside, and then breaking pitch away.
As the ball hit out in center field, it's a base hit. Reggie Smith takes it on 1 hop in to score as Maxwell, the first run in this ball game.
And Curt Flood gets his 5th hit of the series, driving in Dal Maxwell. So the Cardinals go out in front of this ball game by a score of 1-0. Lonborg doing a fine job of pitching, getting 2 outs. Then Curt Flood gets a base hit to score Maxwell. Roger Maris for the hitter. Lonborg looks over at Curt Flood. Here's the pitch.
Ball hit by Scott out in the right field. It's a base hit. Up at the ball's house and going into third is Curt Flood. Look out, they may send him. Now they hold him up there at third base. On at first base, Roger Maris.
Pee Wee, the Cardinals now have 5 hits. We're in the 3rd inning of this game. In the first 2 games, the Lonborg pitched a total of 18 innings. They had a total of 4 hits. So that short rest must make a difference.
Well, I would say would have to, Harry. This fellow, as I said, pitched 290-some-odd innings during the season. And they had a tough pennant fight all the way, and he is their big man. He had to pitch Sunday to beat the Minnesota Twins with a tough ball game. I saw it, and so did most of the fans over the country. We paired the game on NBC television. So he's had a tough year, but don't count him out yet. Cepeda, the first pitch. Inside, ball 1.
Pee Wee, I hope this fire over there doesn't spread. Look at that smoke billowing upwards.
Still haven't seen any flame. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The 1-0 pitch to Orlando Cepeda. As the ball hit hard, but it's foul down the left field line.
Even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. On at third base, Curt Flood. On at first base, Roger Maris. 1 ball, 1 strike on Orlando Cepeda. Had a rough series, the Baby Bull has. 1 run batted in. 3 for 25 now. He grounded out the first time up to the second baseman, Mike Andrews. Lonborg. Here's the pitch to Cepeda. In there. All strike 2. 2 away. Runners on first and third.
It can't be a serious fire. The smoke's only coming out of the top.
Well, we'll watch it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cepeda. It's 2 away. When the top half of the third inning, the Cardinals have 1 run. They lead this game 1-0. The kick, the pitch. It's high and inside. Ball 2. Tim McCarver in the on-deck circle. Lonborg, the big winner for the Red Sox. Pitched the big games all year. He won 22 and lost 9 during the regular season. And as we said, what a dogfight that was in the American League. Lonborg sets. Looks at first and third. Here's the pitch. He gets away from Nelson Hard. Back up on the screen. A big high bounce, and coming in to score from third base, Curt Flood. Going down to seconds, Roger Maris. So it's a wild pitch by Lonborg. The count is now 3-2 on Orlando Cepeda.
And Pee Wee Jose Santiago is working now in the Red Sox bullpen.
Well, hey, we saw Lonborg pitch the first 2 games. Up to now, this doesn't look like the same fellow.
It doesn't. He's not sharp.
The 3-2 pitch to Cepeda. A grounder out the shortstop, Petroselli. The long throw over to George Scott. And that's all for Cepeda, and that's all for the Cardinals here in the top half of the third inning. But they came up with 2 big runs, and the score after 2.5 innings of play. It's the Cardinals 2, and the Boston Red Sox nothing.
This is Harry Caray with Pee Wee Reese. The Cardinals are out in front as a result of a triple by Knoxville and base hits by Flood and Maris and a wild pitch. 2-0 as we go into the bottom of the third. Pee Wee?
Nelson Hard, Bob Gibson's first pitch time. Low, ball 1. The Red Sox will have to play catch-up baseball now. Bob Gibson, the kick, the pitch. Little lazy pop as he jammed him with it. Cepeda down at first base. In fair territory, takes it. So it's 1 up and 1 down here in the bottom half of the third inning. Lonborg, the pitcher. Gets a nice hand from the fans. Gibson, an overpowering pitcher. So many of the teams in the National League, managers. Gene Mock told me that the manager of the Phillies. Lonborg swings and misses, strike 1. He just keeps firing. Here is the kick, the pitch. Curveball, a little outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hey, when you lost this fellow during the season, I thought you'd lost the pennant.
Nelson Browse stepped right in and did a tremendous job, Pee Wee.
Lonborg tries to check his swing, goes around, 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. It's 1 away with the bottom half of the third inning. Gibson has not given up a hit. The Cardinals have 2 runs on 5 hits from the bottom half of the third inning. Here's the kick, the pitch. A fastball and a dandy. Lonborg caught looking. And that is the 3rd strikeout. 4th strikeout. For Bob Gibson, it's 2 away. Brings up Joe Ford. He walked his first time up. The big third baseman for the Red Sox. Gibson in the windup. The kick. Curveball in there. Strike 1. And there's no use taking against this fella. He's always around that plate. Now the curveball just missed. Sidearm curveball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2 away. The kick by Gibson. Fastball just got that outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So, Harry, are you satisfied now? Here comes the fire department.
Boy, I tell you, they might be a little late.
The 1-2 pitch to Foy. Just barely got a piece of it, found it straight back. If I were out in center field, in those bleachers, I may be a little concerned right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Foy. It's 2 away.
You have a lot of friends out there. They heard your remark and they began to wave. So there are the transistor radios out there.
Air ball. Joe Foy caught looking. And that's off of the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. So the score after 3 full innings, the Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox nothing. After 4th inning, the Cardinals 2 runs on 5 hits. And Harry, I must say, those 3 innings went pretty fast. It's your turn. Come on in here. Harry Caray.
Thank you, Pee-wee. Tim McCarver will lead it off. Popped up his first time up. He's 2 out of 20 in the series. Cardinals leading 2-0. Lonborg's first pitch is a curveball low. Lonborg working with 2 days rest. Not as sharp as he was in his first 2 starts. And that's understandable. This boy has had a tremendous series regardless of how this game comes out. Just as he's had a great season. The pitch to McCarver. And it's a little bit outside at the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. McCarver, nothing out of 7 against the pitching of Jim Lonborg. Bob Gibson has panned 5 men in the first 3 innings. Gibson shooting for his 5th straight World Series victory. Here's the pitch. And a fastball in there at the letters, a strike is called. The Red Sox with Foy at 3rd base, Petroselli at shortstop, Andrews at 2nd, and Scott at 1st. Behind the plate is Elston Howard. Lonborg, the pitcher. Yastrzemski in left, Smith in center, and Harrelson in right. 2 balls and a strike, the pitch on the way. Fastball swung and missed, and he lost his plastic helmet on that one. And the count is even 2-2. The Cardinal hitters think they've been chasing a lot of bad balls against Lonborg, and there was an example of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 4th. Cardinals out in front, 2-0. Here's the pitch. Curveball, low and inside. McCarver had a notion, started to swing, stopped, and then got out of the way. The count is full at 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the fire has been put out in that building across the way. 3 balls, 2 strikes. McCarver, left-handed batter, to pitch. He bounces one foul off his foot and then fair down to Scott. So he's still alive, although he's hobbling around a little bit. That one hit him right off the instep. McCarver picks up the rosin bag, dries off his hands, and returns to the plate. McCarver in the 1964 World Series against the Yankees was a sensation. He hit .478 or something like that. In this series, the Red Sox have stopped him. .478 was right. Now the signal. 3-2 pitch. Here it is. Ground ball to the second baseman. That should be easy. Andrews has it. Over to Scott for the out. McCarver rolls to Mike Andrews. And that'll bring up Mike Shannon. He fanned his first time up. He's nothing out of 7 against Lonborg. That fire that we referred to was in a railroad car on a siding across the way. And happy to report that it's been extinguished. The pitch to Shannon. Fastball in there, a strike is called. 1 strike and no ball. Lonborg actually looks sharper here in this 4th inning than he did earlier in the game. Seems to have found that real good fastball of his again. Here's a pitch, and it's inside, forcing Shannon back. The count is even at a ball and a strike. The Cardinals 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors so far, and the Red Sox nothing across. 1 man out, nobody on base, top of the 4th. 2-0 in favor of St. Louis. Here's the pitch to Shannon. Curveball, foul back and out of play. Mike Shannon homered earlier in the series. Hit a homer in the 1964 World Series against Whitey Ford. 2 strikes and a ball. 1 out. We're in the 4th inning to pitch. Bouncing ball to Foy. He's got it. Here's the peg. In time. So Foy throws out Shannon. 2 up, 2 down. And that will bring up Javier, who singled his first time at bat, was out trying to steal. The first Cardinal thrown out stealing. In fact, he was the first Cardinal to try to steal, with the exception of Lou Brock, who's had 4 stolen bases. Javier having himself a great series. He's 2 out of 7 against Lonborg. He ruined Lonborg's no-hitter in the second game of the series here at Fenway Park. Now the pitch. And Hooley lines one foul. And Joe Schultz, the third base coach, hit the deck to get out of the way of that one. And now kind of loosens his vertebrae a little bit as he does a little dance. Javier the batter. There are 2 men out. Nobody on base. 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Airball, strike call. The scoreboard says 1-1, but that's got to be a mistake. He fouled off the first pitch and just took the second one for a curved strike. Now they're correcting it. Javier the batter. Jim Lonborg getting ready. The pitch. Strike 3 call, the fastball. There's Lonborg's second strikeout, and the Cardinals go down in order. 1, 2, 3 in the 4th. And at the end of 3.5 innings, the score remains St. Louis 2, Boston nothing. We go into the bottom of the 4th. The skies had been overcast, but the sun, for the first time, peeks from behind a cloud. And here's Mike Andrews to lead it off. The first pitch. He didn't mean to swing. Half swing, and he fouls it off to the right. Bobby Dorr recovers it. Bobby fumbled that one. When he was a second baseman for the Red Sox, he rarely fumbled a ground ball. He had an errorless record, as I recall. Later broken. Bob Gibson pumps and fires. There's the strike call. Andrews shortened up as if to bunt. Andrews sacrificed his first time at bat. He's had a good series, hitting .400 with 4 out of 10. Leading off here in the 4th, 2-0 in favor of St. Louis. Here's a pitch. Curveball low. Gibson mixing his pitches more this afternoon than he has previously. Mike Andrews, right-handed batter, chokes up a little bit. Here's the pitch. Foul back and out of play. He got around late on a high fastball. The decisive game of the World Series. Whoever wins this one wins the booty, as it were. The winner's share. There's no tomorrow. This is it. Mike Andrews waiting. 2 strikes and a ball. And Gibson's pitch. A tap. Foul down the third baseline. McCarver pounces on it, but there's no reason to. And so comes back to the plate. Shannon playing straightaway third base. Andrews has played straightaway in the outfield. Bob Gibson, who has fanned 5 in 3 innings, gets ready. 2 strikes and a ball. Yastrzemski will be next. The pitch. He struck him out, call. Andrews is called out on strike. Strikeout number 6 for Bob Gibson. And here's Carl Yastrzemski. Gibson already has fanned as many in this game and won the 4th inning as he did in all of his shutout victory in his second game, his second victory. Here's a pitch to Yastrzemski, and it's a breaking ball low and inside. Yastrzemski popped up to the shortstop Maxwell his first time at bat. He's had 2 out of 9 against the pitching of Bob Gibson. Carl Yastrzemski. The pitch to him. Fastball, he started to swing, held up, and it was high for ball 2. Yastrzemski hitting .409 in the series. He's had 9 hits for 20 total bases. Has the most total bases of anybody in the series. Now the signal. Here's the windup and the pitch. Fastball in there, a strike is called. We've talked about how hard Yastrzemski swings the bat. I'm sure that's common knowledge now, and it's significant that in 7 games, as hard as he swings, he's only struck out once. Now the windup. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball to Javier. Big hop, he's got it. Flips over to first in time. Yastrzemski bounces out from Javier to Cepeda. 2 out. Only one man has reached base, and not on a walk, the leadoff man, Joe Foy. Ken Harrelson was out on strikes his first time up. Gibson is fans 6 in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swung and fouled back. He had a good cut on a high fastball. 1 strike and no ball. Ken Harrelson. Charlie Finley's gift to the Boston Red Sox. And to Harrelson, as a matter of fact. Now to wind up the pitch. He swings and misses. Strike 2. And Harrelson is in the hole. 2 strikes and nothing. Gibson keeps pouring smoke. I'm not referring now to that fire which has been extinguished. We're in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Redbirds have had 5 hits. Red Sox haven't had any yet. They've got only 1 base runner, and he was stranded in the first inning. The leadoff man, Joe Foy, walked. Andrews sacrificed into second, but Yastrzemski popped up and Harrelson's fan. Here's a pitch, swung and fouled back. 2 strikes and nothing, 2 out. Bottom of the 4th, St. Louis leading 2-0. Tim McCarver goes out to talk to Bob Gibson. Gibson has pitched 4 complete game victories in a row in the World Series. The first time he pitched in the series in 1964, the first game he was beaten. He pitched the decisive 7th game that year and won it. Had a string of 4 straight World Series victories. Here's a pitch. Curveball, barely missed, outside. 2 strikes and a ball. Ken Harrelson. He's had 1 out of 9 in this series. Facing Gibson for the first time in this game. He was out on strikes in the first inning. 2 strikes and a ball. 2 out, nobody on the pitch. He struck him out swinging. A 7th strikeout. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox. In the 4th, and at the end of 4 full innings, the score remains St. Louis 2, Boston nothing. Don Maxfield leads it off here in the top of the 5th for St. Louis. Triple his first time up. The first pitch to him is high. He scored the first run. On the windup, the pitch by Lonborg. And it's a fastball a little bit low. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Lonborg is fans 2. He hasn't walked anybody. He's allowed 5 hits and 2 runs. Here's a pitch swung on, a bouncing ball to Foy. He's got it, a lot of time, throws perfectly. Maxfield bounces to Foy, who throws him out. Now to bring a Bob Gibson, who's retired on a line drive to the third baseman. Joe Foy in the 3rd inning. You know, after Maxfield let off with a triple off the center field wall, Gibson lined to Foy, and Brock popped up. And it looked like Lonborg might still pitch his way out of the inning. But then Flood contributed a vital single to center. Here's a pitch to Gibson. Long, and he fouled it back. The Boston fans giving Bob Gibson a fine hand as he stepped up to the plate. Here's the pitch. And it's low and inside. As the St. Louis fans gave Jim Lonborg in St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and nobody on. 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. We're in the 5th. The pitch by Lonborg. Strike his call. Boy, he looks much sharper these last 2 innings than he did at the beginning of the game. Bright sunshine is bathing Fenway Park at the moment. The pitch. Swung on. A long drive, deep left center. Way back. It might be out of here. It could be. And it is a home run for Bob Gibson. And boy, that was at the 379-foot mark up against a battery of cameras that are placed up there. Bob Gibson joins the list of pitchers who have hit home runs in World Series competition. And the score is now 3-0. He hit that ball a long, long way. And the second base umpire, Frank Julián, hustling out as far as he could to make sure he saw where it hit, indicated that it was a home run, although the ball bounced out to the field. Here's Brock. Bouncing foul down to Dick Sisler, coaching at first base. Bob Gibson has helped his own cause with a long home run beyond the 379 mark in the extreme center field corner. Lou Brock, nothing out of two. Here's the pitch by Lonborg. Sinking fastball low and outside. The count is even and the ball on the strike. Brock has had 10 out of 27 now in the series, including nothing out of 10 against Lonborg. Here's the pitch. He swings and he misses. In other words, let's see, 27. Take out 10. He's 10 out of 17 against the other pitchers. But for Lonborg, he would have a phenomenal batting average. One run is in on a home run by Gibson. One out. The Cardinals are out in front 3-0. Lonborg's pitch. And Brock takes it high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out and 1 in. Bob Gibson's first World Series home run. Out of sign. Brock waiting. Here's the pitch. There's a line shot in the left field. That drops in there for a base hit. So Brock has his first hit. Yastrzemski fumbles the ball just a moment, but Brock doesn't try to advance. Brock has had his first hit against Jim Lonborg on his 11th time at bat. That'll bring up Curt Flood, who may have gotten the most important hit of the game when, with 2 out and a runner at third, he lined his single to center to put the Cardinals out in front. A little huddle around the mound. Jose Santiago, who manager Dick Williams said would be his first pitcher up in the bullpen, is throwing out there. George Scott and Elston Howard talking to Jim Lonborg. More a delay tactic to enable Santiago to get ready out there. Now, Brock has stolen 4 bases. He's at first base with 1 out and Flood is a hitter. He takes a long lead. Lonborg throws over there, but Brock is back. Brock leads with 4 stolen bases. Long lead, the pitch. Ooh, that goes behind Curt Flood. And he winds up spinning around on his bat to the opposite side of the plate. During his entire National League career, Bob Gibson hit 12 home runs in regular season play, and today he got his first in World Series competition. Brock a lead. Lonborg getting ready. The hesitation at the belt. There goes Brock. The pitch. Howard dropped it. And Brock has stolen his 5th base. Lou Brock steals 2nd. Howard is so anxious to get the ball away, he dropped it. Brock had a great jump off first base. I doubt if Howard could have thrown him out. Brock now has 11 hits in the series, leading everybody. So Curt Flood has a chance of driving it around. Cardinals out in front, 3-0. There's a stretch by Lonborg. And the pitch. It's a curveball in there for a strike call. 2 balls and a strike on Flood, who's 1 out of 2 in this game, 1 out of 9 against Lonborg. He's had 5 hits in this series, which is in its 7th and final game. Brock, a short lead at second base, the pitch. High inside curveball. Ball 3. Jose Santiago is out in the bullpen and throwing hard out there. 3 balls, 1 strike on Curt Flood. Brock, who rarely tries to steal third, stole 52 bases during the regular season, has stolen 5 in this series. There's a pitch. There he goes, trying to steal, and he's going to make it. Wait a minute. He's going to make it, all right. Flood started a swing and then stopped. The ball got away from Howard. I thought perhaps he might have foul tipped it. but he didn't. Ball 4, and Brock steals third. See, I told you he rarely tries to steal third base.
I heard that, Harry.
But he had a big jump, and he went. And Flood took ball 4, and Roger Maris comes up with runners at first and third and only one out. And the Cardinals in a spot now to really break it open. There's only one man out. The infield playing halfway around short and second. Brock's at third, Flood's at first. A lot of speed. The score 3-0 St. Louis. The pitch to Roger Maris. Fastball low and away. 1 ball, no strike. Maris has 10 hits in this series. 10 out of 25, which is a .400 batting average. Without too much publicity, he has done a fine job in this series. Runners at first and third. 1 out. Here's Lonborg's pitch. Curveball in there, strike call. And that evens it at a ball and a strike. The infield in at first and third, halfway at short and second. And a sharply hit ground ball, they'll try for the double play. 3-0 St. Louis. The stretch. Here's the pitch. Way outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. We're in the top of the 5th inning. The Cardinals have had 3 runs, 7 hits. The Red Sox haven't had a hit, and naturally no runs. Lou Brock has tied a World Series record for stolen bases. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Strike call. It's that outside corner. And listen who he tied. Jim Slagle of the Cubs, who stole 6 in 5 games in 1907. And Hannes Wagner of the Pirates, who stole 6 in 7 games in 1909. Roger Maris with a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lonborg's pitch. Outside, ball 3. The crowd very quiet here at Fenway Park. Could almost hear a pin drop. As in this decisive game, the miracle of Fenway Park has not yet happened. But it's a long way to go in these Red Sox. You know the fabulous year they've had. Now the stretch. Here's a 3-2 pitch that goes Flood. Swung on, line drive in the right field. Harrelson's going to catch it. He does. Here's Brock tagging up. Here's a throw to the plate. He scores. And Maris has driven in his 7th run of the series. He leads both teams in RBI. A sacrifice fly by Roger Maris makes the score now 4-0. 2 out. Flood, who was starting on that 3-2 pitch, had to come back to first base. So Cepeda steps up with a runner at first. Brock now has scored 8 runs. He leads both teams in that department. He's had 11 hits. He leads in that department. He has stolen 6 bases. He leads in that category. And here's Orlando Cepeda. A throw to first to runner back. 4-0 in favor of the Cardinals in the top of the 5th. Now the stretch. By Lonborg, he throws over to first. The runner is back. I don't believe the Cardinals have ever lost a 7-game World Series. I think this is their 5th. Now the stretch. Here's the pitch. Cepeda had a cut and he fouled it back. Orlando is talking to himself. He's getting good cuts. He's getting good pitches. This is the Cardinals' 11th World Series, and they're shooting for their 8th championship. Now the stretch. The pitch to Cepeda. Fastball is low. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. 4-0 in the top of the 5th. Bob Gibson hasn't allowed a hit as yet. And the stand 7 in the first 4 innings. There's a lead by Flood. The pitch by Lonborg. Swung at a bad ball and he missed. 2 strikes and the ball. Cepeda, who quite obviously now is pressing. The big man for the Cardinals all year long. He's been held to 3 hits and 26 times at bat in this series, and he's nothing out of 9 against Lonborg. He has driven in just one run. Cepeda goes to the rosin bag, now returns to the plate. The outfield plays him deep. Jim Lonborg getting ready. Now the pitch. Here it is. Curveball is low. That evens it up to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 5th inning. A capacity crowd at Fenway Park. Almost an abnormal silence at the moment. You wouldn't think that 36,000 people or so could be so quiet. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a throw there. The runner's back. Now they're whooping it up out there in the bleachers. Wow, these are great fans out there. Here's the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Foul ball down the third baseline. Boy, guarding the line closely, was over there to make the play, but it was a foul ball. Cepeda busted his bat on that one. He gets a new war club up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cepeda, the hitter. Kurt Flood on first base. Top of the 5th inning. 4-0 St. Louis. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Inside. A fastball, 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count on Orlando Cepeda. Kurt Flood will be going with the pitch again. There's 2 men out, and 2 runs are in. The first on a home run by Bob Gibson. Here's the stretch, the 3-2 pitch. There goes Flood. Howled back to the screen. And the count remains the same. You know, everybody talking all through the series about the spectacular efforts of Carl Yastrzemski of the Red Sox and Lou Brock of the Cardinals. Bob Gibson might slip through to be the standout performer in the series, taking nothing away from the other 2 men. Here's the stretch, 3-2 pitch. There goes the runner, swung on. A long drive, but foul. Out onto the street here. Yastrzemski has been sensational, not only all year long, but throughout the series. Lou Brock for the Cardinals has sparkled. Bob Gibson has allowed the Red Sox 1 run, and that's by Jose Santiago. But this game isn't over yet. Much can happen. Here's the stretch, the pitch. There goes the runner, swung on. High, top fly. Sharp left field. Yastrzemski under the ball, and he's got it to retire the set. Cepeda flies to Yastrzemski. So it's 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 4.5 innings here in Boston, the score is St. Louis 4, Boston nothing.
Out of half the 5th inning, the lights have been turned on here at Fenway Park. George Scott will be the first hitter for the Red Sox. And the Cardinals lead by a score of 4-0. To tell you all about it, Harry Caray.
All right, Pee Wee, here's George Scott to lead it off. Time is called as the umpires find there's something untoward going on in the right field corner, but now we're ready to go. George Scott playing his first time up the pitch. It's a little bit low and outside. Gibson hasn't know how to hit yet. Now the fervor of the crowd can be heard as they begin to cheer the Red Sox on. Here's the pitch. There's a long drive. He's trying to feel way back. Flood near the gate of Monkey up against the wall. Stops around first. On his way to second. Now he's around second on his way to third. And he makes it standing up. Here's a throw getting away. Goes into the Cardinal dugout. And Scott will score. Monahan is trying to get through the throw. Fell down. And the ball skipped into the Cardinal dugout. And the Red Sox have scored. 4-1 ball game, and here's Reggie Smith. Left-handed bat of the pitch, swung on. High fly ball, right field. Roger Maris coming in under the ball. He's got it. George Scott got the first hit off Bob Gibson. A long drive just above the 420 mark in center field. Bert Flood had trouble picking the ball up. Scott advanced to third base standing up. The throw, I don't know whether I think Javier threw the ball. We'll have to check it. Here's Petroselli, and the curveball is outside. The throw into third base. Shannon trying to get to the ball, stumbled over Scott, fell down, and the ball skipped into the Cardinal dugout. Scott scoring. Here's a pitch low to Petroselli. The crowd has now come to life. It's a 4-1 ball game. Petroselli waiting. The pitch. It's a strike call. 2 balls and a strike. That was Scott's 4th hit off Gibson and 9 times at bat in the series. Now to wind up, here's the delivery. Swings and misses, strike 2. Petroselli has batted 7 times against Gibson, has fanned 5 times against him. Home run threat. He can hit that long ball as he proved yesterday. The pitch, he foul tipped it. And the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. It was Javier, as I guessed. I was watching him play at third base. I conjectured that it was Javier that threw the ball towards third. He'll get the air on the throw. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Petroselli. Here's the pitch. He struck him out swinging. That's the 2nd time in a row in this game that Petroselli is fanned. And that is the 8th strikeout for Bob Gibson. Here's Elston Howard. As I mentioned, Scott, here's the pitch. Howard swings. A high pop fly, short left field. Brock coming in, calling for the ball. He has it. So Howard on the first pitch flies to Brock. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left for the Red Sox in the 5th. And at the end of 5 full innings, it's the Cardinals 4, the Red Sox 1. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
This is WMAQ AM and FM, radio home of the Floyd Brown Show, Chicago. More than 100.
All right, on to the top half, the 6th inning. The Cardinals have 4 runs on 7 hits. They've made 1 error. Boston Red Sox have 1 run on 1 hit. They have made no errors. Gibson all the way and Lonborg all the way. The first hitter, it'll be Tim McCarver for the Cardinals as they go in the top half of the 6th inning. Harry?
All right, Pee Wee, 4-1. The Red Sox have picked up 1 of those runs. Here is McCarver. Nothing out of 2 in this game. Popped the short, rolled a second. The pitch. In there, a slider, a strike call. McCarver is nothing out of 8 against the pitching of Jim Lonborg. The Cardinals have had 7 hits. The Red Sox 1. 1 strike on Tim McCarver. Just as Lonborg gets ready, McCarver steps out of the batter's box. 4-1, we're in the top of the 6th. St. Louis leads. Here's the pitch. There's a line drive in the right field. Harrison coming in. He dives for the ball. He drops it down. There goes McCarver on his way to second. A great try by Ken Harrison. And the right field line umpire, Paul Pryor, was right on top of the play. He was ready to indicate that McCarver was out, that Harrison had caught the ball fairly when he saw it pop out of his glove. I think as he hit the ground, the jar loosened the ball from his mitt. A fine try by Ken Harrison. It winds up a double for Tim McCarver. His first hit off Lonborg. So the Cardinals have their leadoff man at second base here in the top of the 6th. St. Louis 4, Red Sox 1. Mike Shannon, who's nothing out of 8 against Lonborg for the series, fanned and bounced out in this game. Right-handed hitter. We're in the 6th. The stretch by Lonborg, the glance back, and the pitch. Curveball is high and inside. Dan Osinski, a right-hander, and Ken Brett, a left-hander, are busy in the Red Sox bullpen. Shannon hitting out of a wide straddle. The Cardinals have had 8 hits in this game. McCarver lead. Lonborg takes a look at him. Here's the pitch. Curveball smash. Oh, great stop by Foy. Picks the ball up, can't make a play. A vicious smash at Joe Foy, who knocked the ball down but couldn't make a play. They're going to call it an error. An error charge to Foy. It's not a base hit. And the Cardinals have runners at first and second. And here comes manager Dick Williams of the Boston Red Sox. Jim Lonborg. You have to admire not only this boy's ability, but his courage. With very sharp wrist. He hasn't had his stuff here today. It's been quite obvious. He's going to stay in this ballgame. The Cardinals, in 18 innings previously in this World Series against Lonborg, had a total of only 4 hits. Today, they've had 8. We're in the 6th inning. Runners at first and second. Javier will be the batter. The ball Shannon hit was hit hard, and Foy knocked it down. But it was an error, and there's runners at first and second. Nobody out. Javier, who's had 1 out of 2 in this game. Right-handed batter waits. Lonborg getting ready. The pitch. Swings and he fouls it back. Javier was trying to go to the opposite field that time. Don Maxwell would be next, followed by Bob Gibson. Runners at first and second. The decisive game of the World Series finds St. Louis leading Boston 4-1. There are Cardinals perched at first and second. Shannon at first, McCarver at second. Now Lonborg gets ready. Hesitates the belt and pitches to Javier. He swings and misses a curveball. And Javier is in the hole, 2 strikes and nothing. The Cardinals have gotten away to an early lead. But these Boston Red Sox have made believers of everybody, but the way they have fought back so many times this unforgettable season, certainly the most unforgettable in the history of the Boston Ball Club. You know, the Cardinals drew over 2 million people at their ballpark this year, and the Red Sox, in a much smaller ballpark, drew something like 1,700,000. That's how much interest they created. Here pitch. He held up on a curveball, almost chased it. 2 strikes and a ball. We're in the 6th. Cardinal runners at first and second. Nobody out. Javier, who's had 8 hits in this series, has distinguished himself both at bat and in the field, as a matter of fact. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lonborg leaning forward. McCarver a safe lead at second. Shannon a short one at first. Scott is not holding them on. Lonborg at the belt. The pitch. There's a long drive way back. It might be out of here. It could be. It is a home run. Javier hits one off the screen in left field, and the Cardinals now lead 7-1. Javier homers. A high towering drive that hit the screen atop the Green Monster. And there's Javier's 9th hit in this series. That brings up Don Maxwell. Cooley now has driven in 4 runs for the series. Here's a pitch to Maxwell, and it's a fastball low. The Cardinals, with 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, and now 3 in the 6th, have a 7-1 lead. Here's the pitch. And it's in there, a fastball, a strike call. That's Javier's first World Series home run. Now the pitch. Swung and foul tip. In the 1964 World Series, Javier was injured, played only a game or so, and Don Knoxville played second base most of the series. Played only one game, and that is a pinch runner. Here's the pitch, swung and foul tip. 7-1 in favor of the Cardinals. Don Knoxville, who started with a triple in the third inning, scored the first run on Curt Flood's single with 2 out. Now to wind up the pitch. Behind him. And the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jim Lonborg, 7 runs on 9 hits. Each team has made an error. Now the pitch. Fly ball, right field. Harrelson going over, under the ball, makes the catch. Knoxville fly to Harrelson, right center. That's 1 away, and brings up the pitcher, Bob Gibson, who homered in the 5th. Lined hard to Foy in the 3rd. And he's getting a nice hand from the Boston fans. Lonborg's pitch, here it is. And there's a curveball in there for a strike call. Gibson pitching his 3rd game in the series, as is Lonborg. Each man went into this game having allowed 1 run. Here's the pitch. Strike call, the fastball. Gibson has won by scores of 2-1 and 6-0 in this series. Lonborg by scores of 5-0 and 3-1. Now the pitch. Curveball a little bit low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3 runs are in. St. Louis leading 7-1. The Cardinals, who never have lost a 7-game World Series. Here's the pitch. Swung, a bouncing ball. 2-4. He's got it. Over to first base. He's out. Foy throws out Gibson. That will bring up Lou Brock. Brock got his first hit of the series against Lonborg in the 5th. Stole two bases. And has now swiped 6 in the series. Brock has had 11 hits. Lonborg throws the ball in to Elston Howard. Plate umpire John Stevens looks it over. It's okay, and they toss it back to him. Here's Lonborg's pitch. Fastball sinks low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 3 runs are in. 2 men are out. Now the delivery. Swung, a line drive down the left field line, and it is a fair ball going into the corner. Brock's around first. He's on his way to second. Yastrzemski recovers the ball and fires it back towards the infield. Lou Brock gets his 2nd hit of the game and 12th of the series, a double into the left field corner. That brings up Curt Flood. Flood has had 1 out of 2, drove in a run. The hit he got in the 3rd inning was the first hit he had had off Lonborg in the whole series. There's the pitch, and it's a curveball in there for a strike call. Foy at 3rd base, Petroselli at short, Andrews at 2nd, Scott at 1st, Howard the catcher, Lonborg the pitcher. There's Brock a lead off 2nd base. And Lonborg's pitch. Swung and he foul tipped. And so Flood has a count of 2 strikes with 2 out, 3 runs in, and Brock at 2nd base. We're in the top of the 6th. Lonborg leans forward. Has his sign. Pitching deliberately, glances at second base. Now the pitch. And it's high and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Curt Flood. Joe Schultz coaching at third base for the Cardinals. Dick Sisler at first base. Mike Andrews holding Brock close. Here's the pitch. Curveball outside. And the count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Flood waiting. Everything quiet here at the moment. Now the glance back at second base. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. Curt Flood goes down swinging. It's 3 runs for the Cardinals. 3 hits. 1 error and 1 left. So, the Red Sox fans up on their feet, cheering as we go now to the bottom half of the 6th with the score, St. Louis 7, Boston 1. Jose Tartabull comes in as a pinch hitter for Jim Lonborg. Left-handed hitter. The score is 7-1 in favor of St. Louis. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swung and he missed. Strike 2. Jose Tartabull. Lonborg, a fantastic pitcher in this series. And one wonders, here's a pitch and it's a curveball low and inside. With proper rest, if he'd had his normal 3 or 4 day rest, how this game would have gone. Tartabull waiting. 2 strikes and a ball. The pitch swung, and he struck him out. Tartabull becomes the 9th strikeout victim. Here's Joe Foy. He's fanned once and walked 1. 1 out. The ball game in the bottom of the 6th. St. Louis out in front 7-1. Bob Gibson delivers, and it's a curveball outside. Gibson is allowed 2 runs now in the series. The right-handed delivers, swung on, a high pop foul. Coming back, McCarver has a play under the ball. He takes it. So Foy fouls to McCarver. 2 men up, 2 men down, and here's Mike Andrews. Andrews' sacrifice in the first inning was out on strikes in the 4th. 2 men are out. Gibson has allowed 1 hit, a triple by George Scott. Here's the pitch. There's a smash and 1 hop to Maxwell. There's a throw over to first in time. Andrews hit the ball hard, but a 1 bounce right at Maxwell. So it's 1-2-3, nothing across. And at the end of 6 innings, it's St. Louis 7, Boston 1.
We're going in the top half of the 7th inning. A new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, Jose Santiago. St. Louis Cardinal. 7 runs on 10 hits. They've made 1 error. The Boston Red Sox, 1 run on 1 hit. They've made 1 error. The first hitter for the Cardinals in the top half of the 7th inning, Roger Maris. Harry?
All right, Pee-wee. Maris, left-handed batter. He's driven in a run today and had 2 singles, 2 out of 2. Here's the pitch. Santiago's curveball is swung on and missed. Santiago had won 12 and lost 4 during the season with an earned run average of 3.60. 1 strike, no ball. Here's the pitch, and it's a fastball in there for a strike call. This is the 3rd appearance for Santiago. His first in relief. He lost 2 as a starter. The pitch to Maris, swung on, a high pop foul. Off to the left of the plate, Howard chasing it over near the stands, out of play. And the count remains 2 strikes on Roger Maris. We're in the top of the 7th. The score is 7-1. St. Louis. Maris, who's had 10 out of 25 in the series, a .400 average, has driven in 7 runs. Now the windup by Santiago, the pitch. There's a long drive, but it's twist foul onto the roof in the right field corner. Maris got out in front, pulled that ball, but foul. 2 strikes is the count. Santiago winds the pitch. Curveball outside. Left-handed hitter digging in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Another long drive foul. Just missed the light tower that time. Santiago from Puerto Rico. A friend since boyhood of Orlando Cepeda, the Cardinals. 27-year-old right-hander winds, and here's the pitch. High fly ball, left center field. Yastrzemski going over, so's Reggie Smith near the wall, and he has it. Maris fly deep to Reggie Smith in left center. That's 1 out and brings up Orlando Cepeda. Facing his countryman here. Cepeda, nothing out of 3 in this contest. 1 out, nobody on. The ball game in the 7th. With the Redbirds out in front, 7-1. Santiago winds, and here's the pitch. A fastball in there for a strike call. 1 strike to no ball. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th. Santiago's pitch. Curveball in there, a strike call. And Santiago quickly out in front of Cepeda with 2 fast strikes. The outfield plays Cepeda straight away and deep. The pitch. Curveball into the dirt outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crowd in the neighborhood of 36,000. Whatever they can get in here for the decisive game of the World Series. Here's the pitch. He struck him out swinging. Cepeda goes down swinging. That's 2 out and brings up Tim McCarver. I think Orlando will be glad when this series is over, Pee Wee. He's having a tough one.
Yeah, I'm sure that he will be, Harry, because Orlando Cepeda had quite a season. He led the Cardinals to the National League pennant. He's quite a hitter, but he's just in one of those slumps and can't seem to get on track.
Here's McCarver, and the pitch swung on, popped up. Elston Howard, who's going to get it? Foy comes down the line from third base and grabs it right in front of home plate. McCarver on the first pitch, popped to Foy. The Cardinals go down in order, 1, 2, 3. The crowd up on its feet, hoping for the lucky 7th. At the end of 6.5 innings, the score remains St. Louis 7, Boston 1.
At the 7th inning. Carl Yastrzemski, what a year he's had, what a series he's had. A great ball player, an all-around ball player, facing a fellow by the name of Bob Gibson here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Carl Yastrzemski, the Triple Crown winner, since to be the MVP of the American League. Here's a pitch, and he takes it low. 1 ball, no strikes. This fellow's been outstanding not only with his bat in this series, but with his arm and with his fielding. And that's the way it was all year long. Bob Gibson delivers. Here it is. Fastball low. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Yastrzemski's had 2 hits off Gibson in the series, 2 out of 10. Popped the shot and rolled the second in this game. Here's the pitch. Strike over the outside corner, belt high. So the count, 2 balls and a strike on Carl Yastrzemski. Ken Harrelson and George Scott are the first 3 hitters in this inning. The Red Sox trail by 6 runs. Here's the pitch. Ball 3 is outside. 3 balls and a strike. Gibson walked 1 man so far, and that was the leadoff man, Joe Foy. Here's a pitch to Yastrzemski. He had a cut and he missed. And the count is full of 3 balls, 2 strikes. Carl Yastrzemski, who swings so viciously but always makes contact. As I mentioned, he's only fanned once in the whole series. And that time he was called out. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. He walked him, ball 4. So Yastrzemski starts the 7th for the Red Sox with a base on ball. And that brings up Ken Harrelson. Harrelson is nothing out of 2 in this game. Right-handed batter up there. George Scott will be next. So the Red Sox have the heart of their lineup coming up. Here's the pitch. Curveball in there for a strike call on Harrelson. He fanned twice in this game. Called out in the first, swinging in the 4th. Now the stretch, the pitch. It's a fastball low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-handed hitter waiting. Yastrzemski at first base. Cepeda doesn't hold him on. Now the pitch. Low. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. And Red Shandy's, the Cardinal manager, comes trotting out to talk to his pitcher, Bob Gibson. These fans enjoying themselves and hoping for a Boston rally here in these closing innings. Whatever Red Shandy said to Gibson didn't take long because he's back off the field. Gibson works quickly. A runner at first base, Yastrzemski, to pitch to Harrelson. He swung and he missed. And the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hey, a lot of times in a situation like that, the manager will tell the pitcher to kind of take it easy, slow down, you're pitching too fast. But this is the type of game that Gibson pitches. He always pitches fast.
2-2 pitch. Here it is. Bouncing ball towards short. Knoxville has it. Second base for 1. First base, safe. So Harrelson forces Yastrzemski from Knoxville to Javier. There's 1 away, and that brings up George Scott, who has the only hit of the game, a triple off the center field wall. Scott, during the regular season, hit .303 with 19 homers and 82 runs batted in. He's been especially effective against Bob Gibson in this World Series with 4 hits and 9 times at bat. Right-handed batter with great power, the pitch. And it's in there. A slider caught the outside corner at the knees. Strike 1 call. A runner at first base is Harrelson. There's 1 out. Scott didn't like that pitch. Now moves back into the batter's box. Eddie Popowski coaching at third base. Bobby Dorr at first base. The stretch by Gibson, the pitch. Curve in there, a strike call. 2 strikes and nothing. Gibson has fanned 9. In his first game of the World Series, he fanned 10. In his second game, he struck out 6. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped as Scott had a good cut. 2 strikes, no ball. Yastrzemski opened the inning with a walk, but was forced by Ken Harrelson. The Red Sox have had 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. The Cardinals 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. That's the story as of now. The stretch by Gibson, the pitch to Scott. Swung on, a high pop foul. McCarver coming back near the screen, may have a play. He does. Scott fouls to McCarver. 2 away. And that will bring up Reggie Smith, the brilliant center fielder of the Red Sox, who at age 22 would seem to have some future, Pee-wee.
Well, I've seen Reggie Smith quite a bit this year, and he's going to be a good hitter. There's no doubt about that. Has one of the greatest arms I've ever seen. I've seen him make a couple of throws this year, throwing men out at home plate where I thought he had no chance to throw a runner out. And you're right, Harry, he's going to be a great one.
He's had 2 home runs in this World Series. He's nothing out of 2 in this game. Here's Gibson's pitch. And it's a fastball high and outside. Reggie Smith has had 1 hit against Bob Gibson in the World Series, 1 out of 8. 2 men are gone. Harrelson's at first base. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Gibson's pitch. And it's a fastball high and outside. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Reggie steps out of the batter's box, takes a look at the third base coach, Ed Mapowski. The Red Sox trailing by 6. But they've been a miracle team all year long. Here's the pitch. And it's a strike call. A good slider. Caught the outside corner about knee high. 2 men are away. Bottom of the 7th. Bob Gibson. From the belt delivers. Hot shot foul. Bobby Dorr does a little cha-cha-cha step down there. Skips the rope, as it were. And lets the foul ball roll under his feet. We have a runner at first. Ken Harrelson, who forced Carl Yastrzemski to open the inning with a walk. Scott then fouled to McCarver, and we have Reggie Smith up there swinging and pulling the ball foul out of the park. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 7th. The Cardinals got out in front early with 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. The Red Sox scored in the 5th. Here's the pitch. High, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Harrelson will be going with the pitch. Enrico Petrocelli is kneeling in the on-deck circle. There's a stretch. There goes Harrelson, the pitch. Bouncing ball foul. Past Bobby Dorr again. And Ken Harrelson returns to first base. Gibson has walked 2 and fanned 9, allowed 1 hit. Reggie Smith, the batter. Switch hitter. Hitting left-handed, of course, against Bob Gibson. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Harrelson. Here's the pitch. Swung. High pop fly. Down the first base line. Javier calling for the ball. Makes the catch with it back to the infield. Reggie Smith popped to Javier. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 7 full innings, it's St. Louis 7, Boston 1.
Harry Caray and I'm Pee Wee Reese, bringing you the 7th game of the World Series here at Fenway Park in Boston. We're going to the top half of the 8th inning. The first hitter for the Cardinals will be Mike Shannon. Then it'll be Javier and Dal Maxwell. Santiago will be the pitcher. He took over for Jim Lonborg, who started this game for the Boston Red Sox. Gibson's still in there for the Cardinals. I'll tell you all about it, Harry Caray.
All right, Pee Wee, Mike Shannon will lead it off for the Cardinals. He's nothing out of 3 in this game. Facing Jose Santiago. Ball game in the top of the 8th. St. Louis out in front. Santiago has his sign. And the pitch to Shannon. Swung on, a bouncing ball. Petrocelli has it. That good arm of his, and Shannon is out at first base. Petrocelli throws out Shannon. 1 away. Petrocelli is about as fine-looking a shortstop as you could want to see. Great arm, moves around gingerly, has good range, and not only that, he hits the ball with power. Here's Javier, who's had 2 hits in this game, including a 3-run homer. Santiago's pitch. And it's a fastball in there for a strike call. Jim Lonborg pitched the first 6 innings. Santiago has retired 4 men in a row. Dave Moorhead is now warming up in the Boston bullpen. Santiago's pitch. Curveball, and he went fishing for that one. Missed it a mile. A wide-breaking curve. Strike 2 on Javier. Javier has had 9 hits in this series and 24 times at bat, including a 3-run homer, his first World Series home run. Out of pitch. Long drive, right field. Harrelson going back near the track. Leaps, and he makes the catch. A beautiful play. Ken Harrelson went back to the track and made a backhanded leaping catch of Javier's bid for an extra base hit. A fine play by the converted outfielder.
Harry Ken is not supposed to be a good defensive outfielder, but that was a tough play. That ball was hit directly over his head. It was a tough play. He turned right on it and caught it right up against the fence.
Here's Don Maxwell. And the first pitch to him is high and inside. Maxwell has had one hit today, led off the third inning with a triple. And later scored on a 2-out single by Flood. Here's the pitch. Curveball low. Santiago seems much sharper today than he did in either game he started. He pitched real well in the first game, but lost 2-1 to Gibson. Now the windup, and here's the pitch. High pop fly on the infield. George Scott backing out on the grass, waiting for it. He takes it. So Maxwell pops out to Scott. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. And at the end of 7.5 innings here at Boston, the score, St. Louis 7, the Red Sox 1. Dalton Jones is going to be the pinch hitter next. Petrocelli, 0 for 2 today. The pitch is high. Ball 2. Petrocelli fanned in the second and fanned again in the fifth. Right-handed batter with good power. Hit 17 homers during the season. Here's the pitch. A fastball in there for a strike call. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the windup and the pitch. Line drive base hit into the left field corner. Might be extra bases. Petrocelli's around first. He's heading for second. Brock's throw. Safe at second base. A strong throw by Lou Brock out of the left field corner, but Petrocelli went sliding into the bag safely. So there's the second hit. The Red Sox have had 2 hits off Gibson, and both have been for extra bases. A triple by Scott and a double by Petrocelli. Here's Dalton Jones. 7 hits in the series, batting .389. Left-handed hitter. Hit .289 during the season. The pitch. Gets away from McCarver, and Petrocelli advances to third. Let's see how they're going to call that. Wild pitch from Bob Gibson. And Billy Muffet comes out of the Cardinal dugout. He used to pitch for the Boston Red Sox. He's the pitching coach for the St. Louis Cardinals now. He used to pitch for St. Louis also. And he's talking to Bob Gibson. A double by Petrocelli and a wild pitch. Places Petrocelli at third base with nobody out, and Dalton Jones is the hitter with Norm Seaburn waiting to pinch hit next. Jones is batting for Elston Howard. Seaburn will be hitting for Jose Santiago. The Cardinal infield plays back. They're willing to concede the run. They have a 7-1 lead. The windup by Gibson, the pitch. Fastball outside. Ball 2. Steve Carlton, a left-hander. Nelson Browse, a right-hander, are in the Cardinal bullpen. The windup, the pitch. Ball outside. Ball 3. The Red Sox have brought their fans roaring again with a good start here in the 8th inning. The pitch. Ball 4, he wants it. Now Dalton Jones gets a base on ball. And that'll bring up Norm Seaburn. Left-handed batter, Cepeda comes over to top. To Bob Gibson. That for Gibson is the 3rd base on balls he has given. In the previous 2 games, he had walked only 1 man. So here's Seaburn with runners at first and third. St. Louis leading 7-1. Seaburn, left-hand hitter to pitch. There's a strike at the knees called. 1 strike and no ball. Seaburn has power. Gibson's pitch. Curve in there, strike call. Seaburn hit .220, used as a pinch hitter most of the way. Drove in 7 runs. Makes his home outside of Kansas City now. Formerly played with the Yankees as well as other clubs. Here's a stretch pitch to him. Bouncing ball to Javier. The run will score. The throw's to second, 4th play. Seaburn drives in a run as he forces Dalton Jones from Javier to Maxwell. That makes it 7-2. Here in the bottom of the 8th. And here's Joe Foy. Foy in this game walked, was out on strikes, and fouled to the catcher. Nothing out of 4 against Gibson in the series. The pitch. And it's a strike. A slider caught the outside corner. Gibson throwing all hard stuff. Fastballs and sliders. Seaver, a short lead off first base. The Red Sox have to play it safe. They're looking for the big inning. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Low. Into the dirt, and that evens it up at a ball and a strike. Gibson still throwing hard. Steve Carlton, a left-hander. Nelson Browse, a right-hander. Both starting pitchers during the year while the Cardinals are in the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch. He swung and he missed the curveball. Joe Foy. Right-handed batter who has power. Here's the pitch. A sliver down towards Cepeda. Backhands the ball. Tosses to Maxwell for the force play. Cepeda ranged to his right for a squiver hit off the end of the bat with a lot of reverse spin. Those kind can cause a lot of trouble frequently. But the ball came up for him. He fielded it backhanded and flipped to Maxwell for the force out of Seaver. So now here is Mike Andrews with a runner at first. 2 out. The score is 7-2. Petrocelli opened this inning with a double. Advanced on a wild pitch and scored on a force out. After Dalton Jones had walked, batting for Elston Howard, Norm Siebert hitting for Santiago, bouncing to a force play, allowing Petrocelli to score. Now the pitch to Andrews. He didn't mean to swing. A little tap down the first base line. Gibson fields the ball and throws over to Cepeda. Gibson coming off the mound quickly. Andrews trying to stop his swing. And so it's 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 8 full innings, St. Louis 7, Boston 2. Top of the 9th inning. The Cardinals are out in front, 7-2. A new pitcher out there for the Boston Red Sox. And now to wind up the final game of the 1967 World Series, NBC's partner to Kurt Gowdy on the Game of the Week, Pee Wee Reese.
Okay, thank you, Harry, very much. We have a new pitcher, Dave Bowie. We'll pause for 30 seconds for station identification.
WMAQ, AM and FM, Chicago.
We're going to the top half of the 9th inning. The Cardinals, 7 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. The Boston Red Sox, 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 error. Bob Gibson's the first hitter, and it's a pleasure to have sitting by my side now. A fellow works on NBC with Tony Kubek every Saturday, and I've worked with him before. It's a pleasure having him here. Jim Simpson. Jim?
Thank you, Pee Wee, very much.
Bob Gibson swings on the first pitch, fouled off the right, strike 1. The last inning here, unless the Red Sox can come up with 5 runs in the bottom half of the 9th inning, and don't ever count this ball club out. They've done the impossible all year. Moorhead's pitch to Bob Gibson, swung on, missed, strike 2. Moorhead, the third pitcher for the Red Sox. Jim Lonborg started for the Red Sox, then Santiago. A good curveball by Moorhead, struck out. Mr. Gibson. So starting the top half of the 9th here, Gibson strikes out, and that brings up Lou Brock. Lou Brock had quite a series. He's had 2 hits today. Got a base hit in the 5th inning, stole 2nd, and then stole 3rd. Got a double in the 6th inning. The first pitch to Lou Brock by Moorhead is low and outside, ball 1. The Cardinals scored 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. Red Sox scored 1 in the 5th and 1 in the bottom of the 8th. A breaking pitch inside. 2 balls, no strikes on Lou Brock. Kurt Flood in the on-deck circle. It's gone right down to the wire. We're in the 9th inning now, the 7th game of the World Series. Fastball just caught the inside corner. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Lou. Lou Brock, the left fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. He has stolen 6 bases in these 7 games. He came into this game batting .400. He's 2 for 4 today. They play him straight away. The third baseman, Dalton Jones, way in on the grass. The count is now 3 balls and 1 strike as that pitch was too low. Dalton Jones has taken over at third base for George Scott. Moorhead's pitch to Brock is fouled off the left. We also have a new catcher, Russ Gibson, as we had a pinch hitter for Elson Howard in the last inning. The Red Sox, whatever happens in this game, I'll say one thing for them, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They have played great ball. There's a fastball inside. Ball 4, so Lou Brock gets a free ticket. And the score being 7-2, Lou Brock, who loves to run, on top of 5. He may not run here. Kurt Flood is a hitter with 1 away. There goes Brock. He took off the throw to Gibson in the dirt. Gets by Andrews. Petroselli cuts it off, but Lou Brock gets his 3rd stolen base of the day and the 7th in the series. Dalton Jones playing third in the place of Joe Foy. Russ Gibson in the place of Elson Howard. A new record has just been established by Lou Brock. 7 stolen bases. The pitch is outside. And one thing about this Brock, whenever he gets on, seems like he upsets everyone. The pitcher, the catcher, and the infielders. And for playing infield so much when a guy's going to run, you have to always watch him. As the pitch is outside. 3 balls. No strikes on Kurt Flood. The next hitter is Roger Maris. The Red Sox trail in this game by a score of 7-2. Gibson all the way for the Cardinals. Here's the pitch. Fastball, tying outside. So Flood gets a free ticket. And that brings up Roger Maris. What has Roger done today? He singled in the 1st inning, singled in the 3rd inning. Hit a sacrifice fly in the 5th inning and hit a 5 balls to Reggie Smith in center field in the 7th inning. He's 2 for 3. Moorhead's pitch to him. A breaking pitch inside, ball 1. But Moorhead's got a little wild streak here. Moorhead has a real good overhand curveball, good changeup. His only problem is getting that curveball over. 1 ball, no strikes on Roger Maris. Here's the pitch, a fastball inside. Makes the count 2-0. Dick Williams out to say something to Moorhead. Russ Gibson, the catcher, comes out. In the bullpen, we have Dan Osinski warming up. And now then a left-hander jumped up. And his name is Ken Brett, 19-year-old left-hander we saw over in St. Louis, and he looks sharp. He can bring it pretty hard. Williams now going off the field, Gibson back to his position. And a few words with Moorhead, trying to settle him down. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Brock on at 2nd. On at 1st, Kurt Flood. Roger Maris the hitter. It's 1 away, 2 balls, no strikes on him. Moorhead looks back at Brock at 2nd base. Here's the pitch. A swing and a foul, straight back. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike on Roger. As Harry Caray said a while ago, that Brock very seldom steals third. He saw him all year, but he did take off the last time he's on second and stole third. Just watching him, he does not get too big of a jump. Petrocelli is playing pretty close to him, right in back of him. Roger Maris takes the next pitch. It's low and outside, ball 3. Andrews, the second baseman, is playing Roger Maris to full. He's way over toward first base. Petrocelli over close to the bag. Dalton Jones at third, right level with the bag. There's the pitch. It's high and inside, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. So that's the third walk. Giving up a Moorhead and coming out of the dugout is an old friend of mine who played with me over at the Dodgers, and I played against him quite a few years when he was with the Giants, and quite a pitcher he was. His name is Sal Magley. And he just gave a little sign out to the bullpen. Looks to me like we're going to get a right-hander. And I believe it will be Dan Osinski. Not only has Brock broken the series record with 7 stolen bases, his 3 steals in a game ties the series record. That was held by Hannes Wagner. A lot of you fans will remember the great shortstop that played with the Pirates, and I had a pleasure of meeting Hannes before he passed on, and what a great one he was. Well, Jim, up to this point, what have you thought about this game?
Well, Pee Wee, for those of whom are Red Sox fans, of course the Red Sox are in deep trouble now that Moorhead has given up 3 consecutive walks with only 1 out. But we can only look ahead because it is up to the Red Sox to do the scoring of more runs. In the last of the ninth, it'll be Yastrzemski, Harrelson, and Scott. In other words, the Red Sox go right into the middle of their power.
Okay, Jim. Well, it's just a shame. Jim Lonborg, who started this game, and he looked pretty good for a while, and you have to give him a lot of credit. He showed nothing but courage all year. He's pitched the big games for the Red Sox when they needed him. I saw him pitch that game on Sunday against the Minnesota Twins when they had to win. Not only did he pitch and win the game, he started the rally that brought him back with a bunt down the third baseline. He's pitched a lot of baseball this year.
Wow. This is Jim Simpson along with Pee Wee Reese back at Fenway Park in Boston. We're in the 9th inning. The bases are loaded with 1 out, and the Cardinals lead 7-2. Osinski, the new pitcher, and he'll face Orlando Cepeda. Pee Wee?
The bases are loaded. Orlando Cepeda, the hitter, and all the runners got there by the way of a walk by Moorhead. The first pitch by Osinski. It's popped up down the third baseline in foul territory. Dalton Jones calls for it. Rico Petrocelli comes over and back of him and takes it. Lou Brock at third base, tags up, makes a little bluff with no one there at third. But I don't think he was really serious about it. Osinski, the pitcher, came in and cut the ball off. So it's 2 away. As Cepeda still having trouble with that bat. Now then we're going to have Magley come back out again. And wouldn't be a bit surprised that we may see the young left-hander, Ken Brett, coming in here. And the fans like this. Ken Brett, 19 years old. This will be a good experience for him, Jim. He may be around for a long time.
He looked very good in St. Louis, Pee Wee, and as McCarver's about to come to bat, we cannot help but remember what you and Harry Carey have been saying all along, that McCarver, as well as Elston Howard of the Boston Red Sox, have not been having good series with their bat. But Pee Wee, I'm sure that you will agree that they are the men who have been handling the pitchers, such as Jim Lonborg, Nelson Biles, and of course Bob Gibson. They're the ones who run this ball club, or these ball clubs when they're on the field. In that respect, I would say that McCarver and Howard have done tremendous jobs. It is only a shame that Howard, who could be playing his last year, and McCarver, who had such a great series back in 1964, have not done better as hitters. But as catchers, they've done exactly what they're supposed to do. Ken Brett is coming in. Pee Wee?
Okay, Jim. Yes, sir. McCarver, as you said, has not had a good series with the bat. But back in 1964, talk about hitting, he was a batting leader in the 64 series. hitting a cool .478, getting at least one hit in each of the 7 games. His .478 average was the best by a National League player since Pepper Martin's .500 in 1931. Now, you're talking about Pepper Martin and the old gas house gang, the St. Louis Cardinals. You know, it would have been nice, Jim, to see a couple of fellows here at the series. I understand one of them was here, Lefty Grove, a great pitcher with the Red Sox, and he was the last pitcher to win 30 games in the American League, 31 in 1931, and Dizzy Dean, who pitched for the Cardinals, he was the last pitcher to win 30 games in the National League. That was back in 1934. Dean pitching for the Cardinals and Grove pitching for the Red Sox, and a couple of great ones. Well, we're about ready to go as young Ken Brett, ready to take over with the bases loaded, 2 men away, and Tim McCarver is a hitter. Brock on at third, Flood on at second, and Roger Maris on at first base. Let's have a look at Ken Brett. Into the windup, the pitch, good fastball, hit down to George Scott at first base. He'll take it himself. One pitch by the Yucks and they're out. So that's all for the Cardinals here in the top half of the 9th inning. No runs. So the score, after 8.5 innings of play, St. Louis Cardinals 7, the Boston Red Sox 2.
Well, Pee Wee, we move now to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Yastrzemski, Harrelson, and Scott. And I'm sure that everyone in New England knows and around the country that the Boston Red Sox were not supposed to have won the American League pennant. Those 2 big games for the Minnesota Twins came from behind and won both. They were down 3 games to 1 to the Cardinals and have come back to win the next 2 to start this series at 6-6. They're now down by 5 runs, 7-2, 3 outs to go. But here's the big one coming up, Pee Wee. Carl Yastrzemski.
Yes, sir. Never count them out. Bob Gibson's first pitch to Yastrzemski is low and outside. Ball 1, the last chance for the Red Sox. And they have a great one starting off here in the bottom half of the 9th inning as they trail 7-2. Bob Gibson's pitch to Carl Yastrzemski, a fastball that's outside, ball 2. Still have action in the Cardinal bullpen. Nelson Browse and Steve Carlton. Browse a right-hander, Carlton a left-hander. Yastrzemski takes the next pitch. It's too low. Ball 3. The last time up, Yastrzemski walked. The 3-0 pitch, Yastrzemski will be taking all the way. He was, and it was right down in there for call strike 1. He backs out of there, checks with Papowski, his coach at third base, and said, Eddie, you want me to swing at this one or take it? 3-1's the count on it. Here's the pitch. He swung at it, base hit out of the right field. Carl Yastrzemski. Could be his last time at bat, and that's the way they finish the season. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Ken Harrelson. He's the hitter. Bob Gibson's first pitch to him, low and outside, ball 1. Defensively for the Cardinals, Cepeda at first, Javier at second, Maxwell at short, Mike Shannon at third base. Bob Gibson's pitch to Harrelson, high and inside, ball 2. Red Sandys coming out of the dugout. Wants to talk to his pitcher, Bob Gibson. McCarver out. Mike Shannon in. Red Shandies gives him a little pat as Steve Carlton, a left-hander, and Nelson Browse continue to throw in the bullpen. Red says, Bob, take it easy. Not too fast. As Bob Gibson falls behind, Ken Harrelson here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Carl Yastrzemski on at first base. Gibson comes set. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there for call strike 1. No one away. The score, Cardinals 7, the Red Sox 2 in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Here's the pitch. Little tap, it's foul down the third baseline. Shannon in picks the ball up and drops it. Evens the count up at 2-2. Harrelson 0 for 3 on the day. Struck out in the first and in the fourth. Hitting the force out in the seventh inning. Here's the pitch to him. Ground foul out to Maxwell short. The flip over to Javier for one. The throw to first, a double play. A real fine double play as Maxwell had to go in the hole. The shortstop for the Cardinals gave the ball with something on it to Javier at second base. And the throw over to Cepeda for a double play. So it's 2 away. And it brings up George Scott, the last hope for the Red Sox. He swings on the first pitch and fouls it back. Strike one. Scott, 1 for 3. Hit a triple in the fifth inning. Scored one of the runs. Here's Bob Gibson's pitch to him. It's high. Makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, I certainly hope that you fans have enjoyed this World Series. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. Scott, foul straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes on him. Bob Gibson looking for his 3rd win in the series. The 1-2 pitch to Scott. He struck him out, and that's all for George Scott. And that's all for the